Hi, it's Jane, and I thought we'd work a little bit. I thought I'd chat a little bit while you're not working on it, I am. While I am working on my little rectangle granny square blanket. I know I had told you originally when I started it that I was going to do two granny squares, two of the granny stitch, chain two of the granny stitch in the corners. I decided not to, just because. Figure I'm gonna just work this way and then maybe do a scalloped edge around it. But yeah, I just thought we would sit and chat a little bit as we go on. I have friends who are in Iceland right now, and they have been sharing pictures on their Facebook page, little videos here and there of the sites as they're going. They're staying in one of those Airbnbs. Looks like a beautiful little cabin out kind of away from society. So it's nice and quiet and looks very relaxing. And I think they have a hot tub available there too as well. And of course, the thing that I'm struck by that's interesting is she had posted a picture at 1 a.m. where there's still sunlight out. Yeah, find that interesting, and how they're dealing with that. Of course, sunrise, is a couple hours away from 1 a.m. there in Iceland. So they are enjoying their trip to Iceland and viewing all the things. And she's been sharing some of the different things along the way, some of the foods that have been provided, that they're eating. And I think on one of them she had shared there was a picture of, I want to say 5 cheese pizza, including brie on the pizza, and that there was jelly in the center of the pizza. Of course, it was very big. It was a homemade pizza. It looked gorgeous. So they had leftovers, to eat later on. She said the only thing was that food prices, menu, when you're eating out, are expensive. They're kind of pricey, which, you kind of expect that. And yeah, I think they said it took maybe 4 to 6 hours to go through customs when they first got there, to exchange money and then stop and get something to eat before they were, and rent a car before they were on their way to where they were going. So I found that rather interesting. They did go up to, I can't even pronounce the name, but I want to say Skoksa, which is a beautiful area that has a lot of falls and things in it. But before they went there, they knew that they would be doing a lot of hiking, so they had stopped for snacks. And one of the snacks that's readily available is dried fish. And she said you are supposed to suck on it to rehydrate it, before you actually eat it, I guess. I don't know. I know even if I were there, I would not be doing dried fish. That would not be my snack of choice for a hike. And they had also gotten a package of Doritos there. And there are the Cool Ranch Doritos, but instead of being called Cool Ranch, they're named Cool American Doritos. So I'm finding that interesting to see. Iceland has always been one of those that I wanted to go to, and yes, even Greenland. Also Wales, Scotland, Ireland, those kind of things. Who knows, maybe someday. Like to go to Japan as well. So I have a nice big, bucket list to fill before I pass on. Will I get to them? Maybe, maybe not. But It's nice to have a bucket list, isn't it? Yep. So what are you guys working on today? Are you getting your projects done the way that you had planned on getting them done? Are you finding life gets in the way, that it's hard to do? I know I'm always thinking about Jeanette with all of her health issues right now. I know sometimes it's hard for her to even crochet. So, yeah. And I don't like that for you, Jeanette. I really wish it wasn't that way for you at all. So, yep, interesting. It's no fun getting older, as one of the ladies in church in front of me said. She was turning 78, and I'd wished her a happy birthday Sunday. She said, I don't like this getting old business. So, yeah. And I learned a little bit about her and her husband. Her previous husband had passed away, I think she said 15 years ago. But 6 years ago, she met her current husband. They fell in love and they married. So I find that interesting. I don't know if at the age of 72, I'd be willing to remarry again. Guess it'd have to be someone exceptionally special, to do that. But who knows? You never know what God's going to bring into your life or what turns in your life will happen. So, I have to tell you, the other day, last month, each month, I meet up with one of my friends at where she lives. She lives in a apartment complex, but they have a conference room that they can book and where they can have, meetings or friends over or dinners or whatever. And so she books it once a month. And last month, I normally have it on my calendar. And last month, I'm going along doing some stuff. And I get this text almost noon, because we meet at 11 there at her house, her apartment complex. And I get this text, are you not coming today? I didn't have it in my calendar. I totally forgot about it. Yeah. I thought that was rather funny, But what are you going to do? Got to keep moving on. Keep going as best you can. So, yeah. That was one of those moments I'm like, okay, I need to make sure it's in my calendar each month as I go so I don't forget it. So, I have been out there each evening trying to work outside to get some of that stuff cleaned up and to chop away at the bamboo. But this week I am actually spraying weed killer out to kill some of the weeds that are out there, to get rid of them. I have also taken my weed eater, because you cannot mow at all on the bank in front of the house. It's uneven. The contractor threw all kinds of crap down there, big rocks, limbs. So you can't mow there, so you have to take a weed eater. So I'm just going to weed eat what I can reach. And yeah, because in the front it's just growing up like crazy, that nasty barnyard grass, although I've called it wheatgrass in the past. And my one friend said, well, the birds carry that in. I said, no, this is what the contractor planted. So yeah, not happy about that, because It's very different from Kentucky fescue. Very different. So yeah, that's been rather interesting to have to do. Put some bird feeders out on the patio because I found a big tote full of, like 5-gallon tote full of bird seed. And I forgot that I had that and hadn't used it up when I was still in the apartments before I moved into the house. So I'm putting that out there for the birds to pick at, whatever. You know, little varmints. Keep the cats entertained because it's right there by the window where they like to sit and watch many times. So at least they'll be entertained, right? Huh. But yeah, it's been an interesting spring so far. And we're not even close to summer, but there have been days that it's been extremely hot out there. I've gotten out there, done some things, had to come in and cool off. You know, even though it's just in the 70s, it feels much harder here in Pennsylvania than it does anywhere else. And I'm always grateful when there's a breeze because it feels good. But I don't want breezes when I'm spraying that poison out there. I don't want it coming back on me. And yes, I do wear gloves and goggles and long sleeves. But still just the idea of it being out there. You know, having to do it. I had noticed that some of the scammers now are putting out their jobs, you know, that they want you to get a job, those kind of things. And then they supposedly send you this computer and all this stuff for you to work on. And they're just total scams, a lot of them. And then you're stuck because you get a call from you, because they've sent you usually they send you a check to go buy a computer. And of course you deposit it. Then later on you find out that it was a fake check. So what are you going to do, right? Because the bank calls you and they want their money. Unless you actually have a lot of money in your bank account. And yeah. Then they take you right back out and you're like, why'd you take that money back out? Well, because that check wasn't real. And I don't see any clear way to fix those kind of things because people can even make fake electronic deposits into your bank account. So going all digital is not the easy answer either. So I don't know what an answer to that is. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty disturbed that about the things that are going on in politics. You know, Biden, the same day that Trump was convicted of the 34 felonies, supposedly, but they're not really felonies because they're state felonies because they're not federal felonies. And they can't be upheld federally. So that's an interesting case in itself. But anyway, that same day, he also approved for the Ukraine to use U.S. arms, missiles, to bomb into Russia. And that is a first. And quite honestly, between him and if you follow anything that NATO is doing, it looks like they are really trying to lead us into a war with Russia. So there's a part of me going, you know, I see Red Dawn actually happening. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Red Dawn, but Red Dawn was a movie basically about Russia attacking America on their own soil, by sneaking in, through open borders, and then starting a war. Of course, Red Dawn basically was about all those folks who were armed and at home, who had ammunition, actually going and fighting them, meeting them in battle. So, there's a part of me that goes, well, that's going to be happening soon. I hope it doesn't, but, I don't know how we're going to avoid that. So, life's just getting more and more interesting as we get older. Pastor this weekend did a sermon on, it was about Abraham's life, and things that we can take from Abraham's life in the Bible. But basically he had used the term old man, and he had called all of us that are older, he had said that we were used it as in steaks, well done, whereas the younger generation was very rare. So he had done that, and so we were all laughing about that. Then when we got into the Bible study, the teacher that was leading that lesson referred to well done again, as in older folks and the way that they react to things that are going on in their life, whether they're actually showing how they're Christian or not. And I kind of laughed about that, and I told him, no, it's not well done, we're just well seasoned. So we've been having fun with the term well done, well seasoned, Oh. But in that group, we do have quite a few bikers, and Christian bikers. They're part of Christian riding motorcycle clubs that are Christian bikers. And they do all these trips and everything, and they tell us about their trips. So it's a lot of fun to find those things, and to see the different things that they do to further their ministry with Christ through their biking episodes. And one of them also sets up a group here. It's called the Dirty Daubers, and they do a lot of off-road biking, in the mud, that kind of thing. So it's always fun to see the interesting things that they are doing with that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just a neat time to get to know different people in your church and know the different things that they do, the outreach that they have. That's kind of fun to do as well. And also, quite a few of them are crafters as well. So it's interesting to find out the crafts that they are on too. We have another week, I think next Sunday on the 9th begins the concert series out at the Lamar Lighthouse campgrounds, which I'm excited about because I love those. Love going to see those types of things all the time. So I'm looking forward to that this next weekend, getting back into those things. Oh. And I was sitting here thinking about, I have a friend who works 2 jobs, and I've heard of other people working 3 jobs, and I'm not quite sure how you folks do that, because how are you even making your bills and your things working 3 jobs? Goodness, the economy is just awful. I hope that it picks up and things change a little bit, because at the moment it's just bad all the way around. Yep. I'm curious how many of you have started anything Tunisian. If you have, let me know in the comments. Um, I know I enjoy Tunisian. A lot of people don't really care for the Tunisian crochet. It is a little bit different. There are some different skill levels to learn, but you know, if you take it slow, learn them here and there, you eventually will get them down, and it won't be as difficult as what you think it is. So yeah, and I'm really glad there are a lot of people that are doing a lot more with Tunisian. Of course, there are quite a few tutorials. Not only, you know, between the tutorials, the little ones that I do or attempt to do, but those that like Nina of Nina's Next Knots does, as well as MDL. He does a great job with his Tunisian. So there are a lot of people to learn from. So don't be afraid to try it. I do know, and let me see if I can pronounce her name correctly, Aohibi does a lot with using just a regular crochet hook and Tunisian that is basically more or less Tunisian with link stitches. They are beautiful, but I will say I've had problems with some of her patterns and have not gotten any answers to my questions. So I've only completed one of her patterns, and that was the Pax shawl. Some of the other ones I've tried, they just do not come out. And I don't know if it's me, but you know, it would be a little helpful if she would answer her emails. You know, like I said, one of the patterns I had purchased, number count just was not coming out correct, and I thought, well, maybe it's me. But then when I went back and looked at it and the way that she did increases, you know, I don't think it's me. So, and I put it away until I've learned a few more things Tunisian wise to attempt to do it again at a later date. That has not helped. So, but she has some absolutely stunning Tunisian designs out there. Of course, there's Kim of Kim's Crochet. Kim, what's her last name? Garza, I think. She has some beautiful patterns as well. She does a lot with Tunisian. She has, you know, Tunisian tutorials out there as well as TL Crafts. Tony Lipsky, she has a lot of great tutorials, tips, tricks, a lot of Tunisian projects as well as some regular crochet. But I do love a lot of her patterns. They seem to be written very well and easy to follow. So, yeah. And I've been watching My Crochet Obsession, I think. She does a lot of the freeform crochet. She has also been doing a lot of tutorials on crochet flowers. So that's been a lot of fun. Oh look, I need to add on another skein. Another cake. Am I going to do colors? I think I will. I think I will use, no, I'm not going to use that one. I think I'm going to use this one to help tone it down a little bit. just because. It's a little on the wild side. Of course, got a knot right off the bat. Don't you hate when that happens? Well, maybe we'll loosen it up this way. There we go. That loosened it up, and take my bead off. And you know, I know a lot of people don't add the pony bead, don't need to. I do it just because it makes it easier for me to find the center pole, because I love center pole. I just find it a lot easier to do than to do from the outside, because doing from the outside, I generally just make a big mess, and I do not enjoy the big mess. So let me get these ends tied together, and then we will continue on conversing, or at least I will continue on chattering away about nothing. For those of you that watch Juan the Yarn Addict, I have been interested to see who is going to participate in the collabs he has planned, and to see what those collabs are. Should be interesting to see, right? I think I had watched Jax, and I think Jax is going to be one of those that is participating. So that's, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what their collabs are about and what they are doing. I do know he has the final voting right now going on for his kindness beanie, for the name for the beanie that he created that surrounds kindness. So be sure to check him out. As far as that, to vote on that, I believe it's on his community page where you're allowed to vote on his channel. And I was listening to Rose last night talk, and she is almost at 18,000 of Rose Likes Yarn. Rose Loves Yarn. I'll put a link down below to her channel as well. She's almost at 18,000. So if you are not subscribed to her, consider subscribing to her. Yep. Let's get her up to that 18,000. I'm always glad to see people get up in their numbers, And I don't think there's any reason for jealousy. That's kind of ridiculous among folks. So let's stop doing that. I have also considered doing something like what Cheryl of Vixen Purple Yarn and More, I think that's the name of her channel. Try to leave a link down below there too, where she is going through the different totes that she has, discovering the yarns that she's purchased thrift-wise. I always find that interesting. I know I had mentioned to her, she showed off some yarns that she got at a thrift store at a haul the other day. She got some great prices on those. Let me get a drink here. On those bags of yarn. Unfortunately, in my area, if you're going to get good deals on yarn, it's either going to be at scraps and skeins or yard sales. If you go to Goodwill, they tend to take a skein of yarn. Let's say it's a red heart skein, and someone's used a partial of it. They charge usually the same price that Walmart does for a brand new skein of yarn. That is a little bit on the ridiculous side. They don't always have good deals on those yarns. And then, of course, if you're looking, Don't know where that stopped. My camera does some automatic stopping at about 29 minutes. But like I said, I was thinking about going through mine and kind of going through them again, see what I have, what I don't have. In the past, I had them very well organized. I had a notebook, so I knew which tow which yarns were in. Well, that's gone by the wayside since I moved here. I have no clue what's in what and who's where. So I've thought about, reorganizing yarns that way, like putting all the green shades together, all the blue shades together, purples, those kind of things. But I don't know if I'm ever going to have time to do that, so who knows? And I always thought that I would have a lot more time when I was retired. I'm not finding that, folks. Not finding that at all. I'm finding I am actually busier than ever. And of course, people find out I do certain things. I've had people at church, since they know that I sew, have constantly asked me if I would do alterations, hem pants, those kind of things. I detest that kind of stuff, folks. I hate doing that kind of thing. And I find it rather interesting that they want me to do that. So, yeah. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, I can tell you this, I can't get down on the floor to mark where the hem needs to go. But if you want to take a pair of pants you already have, or you like the hem, bring them to me, along with the ones you want hemmed. I'll do that. But, yeah, I don't really care for that at all. I don't at all. Don't care for that business any bit at all. And I don't know why. I think it's because I did so much of it when my kids were growing up, and I used to make almost all of their clothes. I didn't make jeans. I made a lot of shirts. And I think I've told you in the past before, when the kids were in elementary school, the twins, I had a lot of people asking me to make shirts for their children, and teachers asking me for some of the children who, let's say, were not in a good place. They would bring me fabric and ask me to make shirts for those kids. And I would do that, or outfits or dresses. I used to make dresses for my daughter Jessica as well. I did have a friend, I used to make all of her shirts for her. She would choose a fabric, and she wanted one style of shirt because it looked good on her, so I made a lot of those, and eventually I said to her, can we change up the sleeve a little bit? And she said, what do you mean? I said, how about we do this instead? We did that, and she liked those, and then we got on another run of making it with the different sleeves. So, yeah. Of course, that was back before where I lived there in Roswell, New Mexico, before their Hancock's went out of business. And Hancock's was one of the only fabric stores. I don't know if they have a Joann's there yet or not, to be honest. They probably do. I do know they have a Hobby Lobby that sells fabric. So, there is fabric there. And there were a couple of quilt shops that you could buy fabric at. But there was this one place, it was called Factory to You. And they used to sell irregular items. These were things that didn't pass quality control. But if you really looked, you couldn't see the issues. Maybe the sheets, the hem wasn't correct on them or something. But I used to buy king-size sheets in all different flavors and colors and prints. And I made when I was in nursing school, I made my nursing outfits out of those. So, because they were all cotton, they were beautiful, and I used to have a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you have such nice wardrobe. Where do you find those things?" I make them. Yes, I make them. I sew them. So yeah, I used to have a lot of fun doing that. Kind of got out of that kind of thing, but I used to make my own shirts, skirts, pants, you name it. And I will tell you, at church Sunday in the Sunday school class, we have a bunch of teen boys and college students who, and high schoolers that just graduated. They have this thing every Sunday. They wear flowered shirts or Hawaiian shirts. One of the young men that was sitting in front of me was wearing this beautiful, it was almost sapphire blue fabric, but it had hibiscus in pinks, purples, and whites with some birds hidden among it. And I said, I was teasing the boys. I said, "Oh, I see again. What's the deal with all the Hawaiian shirts and flower shirts you guys wear?" And they laughed. They said, "Oh, it's just kind of fun to do. So they do that. So this young man was sitting in front of me, and I said, "I'd really like that shirt. Can I have that shirt?" And he said, "Well, what are you going to do with that shirt?" And I started laughing. I said, "I'm going to turn it into a purse." He goes, "What? You turn this into a purse? You can do that?" I said, "Oh yeah, give it to me and watch." And then as he was leaving, he goes, "Here, let me give you my shirt." And I said, "Honey, I was just teasing you. I didn't mean that. I don't want your shirt. You keep your shirt." Because no, really, if you want my shirt, you can have it. I'd like to see it made into a purse. I said, "No, what I will show you is I do have some fabric here at the house that has hibiscus on it. I had planned to turn that into a purse itself." I said, "I'll let you see it when it's done." So it was rather cute to see him offer up his shirt, just because I wanted to turn it into a purse. But yeah, and I was teased him because one of the older fellows, and he's in our Awana group, he was one of the leaders. I teased him. I said, "I don't know how you got Adam to wear his flamingo shirt with the hibiscus in it, but they did manage to get him to wear his flamingo and hibiscus shirt to church." And I would say he's about in his late 30s to 40s, early 40s. So yeah, that was rather fun to see that. Well, folks, I think I have carried on long enough. I am going to let you go. I've chatted on about a lot of nothing, a lot of odd things. I will continue to work on this a little bit with this skein, and we'll see where it's going, maybe next week or maybe later on in the week. Maybe What Whip and Coffee, maybe I'll bring it back out again and let you see where it's gone to. But yeah, I'm going to let you go for now. As always, remember, be a little kinder to yourself, be kinder to one another, and just have a great week. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.